Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's our first time using this AirMeet platform, and I hope you have a good experience today. First of all, if you can look on the right-hand side, there's a chat bar. So if you'd like to put in the live chat, if you'd like to just write anything about what you do and any contact details, you're welcome to put that into the chat now or at any time later. Likewise, you can ask any questions you like in the chat, and we'll answer that as they come up. So in a couple of minutes, we will start with the webinar with Paul from Outbound. I'm delighted to have Paul on the call here today. So we'll get started with that in a couple of minutes. And then after that, we can join a roundtable chat, which is a little bit like a Zoom breakout room, where you can talk with a couple of people at one table, and then you can change to another table and speak with others. And then after that, we will be able to start the speed networking, where you can speak with people on an individual basis, that's one-to-one. And basically, after that, you'll get about 5-6 minutes to speak with people on that individual basis. And then after that, you can also join a roundtable again if you want to speak with anybody in particular. And that's how the speed networking works. So we're going to get started now in a moment. If you do have any questions, just put it in the chat. So I'll say a big welcome to Paul Hennessy here from Outbound. Paul is the CEO of it's an Irish tech company based on helping businesses with sales. So how are you there? How are you doing today, Paul?
Very good, John. Thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for arranging this webinar. We're doing really good. These are challenging times, but we're now in a position where we can really help companies, and we're really excited now to present this to you and your audience as well.
Great. And I'm aware that Paul just got a brand new laptop and it just installed the camera, but it is a slight technical issue. So unfortunately, we can't see your lovely face there today, Paul. Apart from But yeah, we've got. I guess you'll talk us through some slides, a little bit about Outbound. But can you tell us first of all a little bit about your own background and how you came to start Outbound?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess my name is Paul Hennessy. I'm the founder and CEO of Outbound. So Outbound is a Dublin-based sales intelligence platform that gives companies instant access to their ideal customer, and we'll talk a bit more about that later. But I guess my background is quite diverse. I've had a range of different companies, but originally I started my career as a pilot, worked over in Canada, Brazil as a medevac pilot, and worked as well in the Middle East too. And then I kind of somehow got into business in between waiting and looking for a kind of aviation job in the middle of the recession. A good few years back, landed myself with a few different kind of companies, everything from a pet services company that I sold, working in a consultancy, but I ended up effectively in tech. I was a programmer since a young age, and just kind of naturally kind of said, look, I'll go into this. I loved engineering. I love everything that was quite technical. This was, I came from a similar background of being a pilot. Worked in a company called Chill Insurance, done quite well there. I love what I done, took on a lot of big responsibility quickly, then worked for an Irish agency, ended up in Facebook then directly after that, but knew that my vision was to start a company. So I started up a company called Data Innovation Systems, which was a data agency that focused on building dashboards, automation, connecting big enterprise applications which typically don't work too well together. That was our kind of focus. So originally with that, we done quite well. We were generating revenue pretty fast within our first 9 months, and we needed to actually increase our sales. So we outsourced to a lead generation agency, and the results that they gave us weren't that good. So to kind of start off, they were doing email campaigns. They'd identify who our target market was. They try and put all this together, and I think what I kind of learned with that was it's very hard to have a third-party company, albeit at a budget as well, actually, do your full sales cycle for you and present, opportunities that are ready to close or close to close directly back to you. So that was why effectively we decided to build this product, because one of our clients was using the same agency, had the same bad results, and said, look, well, you're doing data mining, you're doing all different things. Why can't you turn this into focus on the sales kind of product as well? So we done this for them as a consultancy work. We thought it was a really good idea, and then we generated product from that, and that was about 2.5 years ago.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I mean, it's like, I guess a lot of people struggle with lead generation. It's the most important part of a business. And I think when people think of lead generation, they often think of marketing, and they often get confused about kind of the marketing way of contacting businesses to bring them in. So obviously, like, outbound sales is all about getting the sales team to go out, really, to try and find the right ideal clients and get their attention. So, like, have you got any feedback just regarding, like, email outreach as opposed to, say, contacting people on LinkedIn? Why do you feel like that email is so important here?
Well, I guess I have a few different kind of personal reasons for this, and I've got reasons that I would see working with different range of companies. So, personally, for me, I think LinkedIn is an amazing tool. It's brilliant. It should be a core part of anybody in sales or any business owner's role. But your inbox gets cluttered. It's difficult to kind of reach out to people at scale. You can't automate a lot of it unless you use kind of unapproved third-party plugins. So there's different areas with things like that. And I'm definitely very much an advocate of LinkedIn. There's no doubt about that. In terms of inbound marketing, for example, inbound marketing is great. It's proven to work. But the difference is, like, whether you're relying on ads or content writers or content marketing, there's a much higher cost. So the cost for that range from $14 to $79. And this is very usually for B2C, for an inbound digital click. So, to get high volume traffic can cost you a huge amount of money, compared to, for example, like building up an outreach team, having them focus on account-based sales methodologies, kind of following that path, and then having the data behind it then to kind of automate and engage directly with accounts and prospects that are a good fit. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that. We're kind of working with companies that maybe were traditionally inbound up until they have high growth, and then the kind of growth starts to plateau, and then they move over to dedicated outreach because they know they can't grow any further at a rapid rate directly with inbound. So there's definitely some science in that, and that's the way the trend is going now.
Right. Okay. And okay, so when we jump in, can you show us a bit more about how the Outbound tool works, and just give us a bit more? Like I see there, the unique selling point. GDPR is a huge issue when if you send out emails and then you're maybe some sales reps, they try and guess emails. Or they find them in different sources online, and people reply, "Hey, how did you get our email?" and this kind of stuff. Can you tell us a bit more about that and your unique selling point?
Yeah, so our unique selling point as a product, I guess, is we're EMEA-focused data. So we provide EMEA-focused company intelligence and then contact intelligence. And we have a lot of other interesting stuff coming out in the next few months, and everything down to personality AI and different areas. But effectively, it allows companies to log in and find which accounts should they be targeted in the first place based off different metrics. And because from all the stats prove that the account-based sales model works rather than focus on persona-based. And then directly we provide refresh to validated contacts. So depending on kind of which plan you're on with us, if you're on one of the larger plans, you're able to actually select the personas you want in each account. And then we refresh and revalidate all the contact data on demand just for you within a short time period. So that's kind of, I guess, what makes us a bit more unique. And with that as well, on our larger, I guess, plans, we'll give unlimited contact data too. So that's how we bundle it all together. In terms of the GDPR and the legitimacy and how do you do this, the data isn't really necessarily the problem. The problem is how does an organization actually, reach out to a third party compliantly. So the two main areas to look at are the GDPR and the e-privacy directive. The e-privacy directive is actually the main area as opposed to the GDPR. For example, in most of the countries in Europe, to contact somebody under legitimate interest for a B2B purpose. Germany, for example, I think besides one other country, is the only country that you actually can't do it. The rest of them, you have to just give them an opt-out. So you have to give unsubscribe settings, and you have to allow them to opt out directly. If they ask, you can tell them where the data came from, and there's a few different little areas like that. I'm happy to kind of explain in detail later on.
Great. And just in terms of, like you say, EMEA, do you also have data, for example, and people are looking to make contact with businesses in the US or other areas?
We do indeed. So I guess we focus on EMEA per se, just in terms because we target a lot of US corporations based in Dublin, for example, folks in South EMEA sales. But we have data from everything from China, Hong Kong, Japan, down New Zealand, everywhere globally. So we can provide data globally for any needs.
Brilliant. Okay. Okay. So yeah, tell us more.
Sure. So I guess outbound kind of, as what I said earlier on, it's allowing you to give you instant access to your ideal customer. So the product is built for everyone from a smaller entrepreneur founder all the way to sales operations in big maybe tech large multinationals. So it's built for a sales professional in between these different areas. We also have different people or personas who use our platform, including marketing as well, but it's predominantly built for sales. So how we make this different is we use machine learning and data mining techniques to actively give you all the data that's relevant to your target audience, put this directly in front of you, and allow you then to choose what you think is the right accounts to target. So you're not wasting time targeting accounts that you don't think are a good fit in the first place. And then on top of that, we provide all the refresh contact data. So if you're doing account-based sales strategies, you need to know that every contact in your campaign is valid, so you don't waste your time engaging with these.
Mm-hmm.
And why do we do this? Well, I guess the big obvious statement is, especially in these kind of tough times of COVID, companies are failing because they have a lack of revenue, and that's the end result. Our product allows you to kind of work across COVID. Everything from the Zooms, especially with this product we use now, AirMeet. It's all about giving companies, an easy, simple digital way to communicate. We're not here to do anything that's not magic. We're here to put you in touch with the people that we think want to buy your product based off your chosen criteria.
Okay. And one question I always get asked is where do you find the where do you get the data from? Where do you get people's emails from?
So we don't get them, I guess, per se like that. So there is different companies that might crawl the web and look for a particular email. The problem is we have 400 and something odd million emails. They're not actually all via the web. So what we do is we use artificial intelligence to generate the email and then validate with our own proprietary means. We also connect to third-party and partner data sources over in the US and Japan and different countries. We aggregate all this data and it goes into a data pipeline, and then we serve it back directly to our clients in the product.
Great.
And I guess so why do we do this? One of the biggest reasons is because bad data costs companies a huge amount of money. So if you've got sales teams that are reaching out to individual prospects or accounts which aren't the right fit, the amount of time spent just to do this it costs a huge amount of money. With the average sales professional on around €30,000 per year, maybe based in Dublin, at probably a low end scale. If they're reaching out to individual accounts and then trying to figure out contact details and such, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
So here's a quick kind of graph which shows, I guess, the average sales representative's allocation time, kind of with outbound or with outbound. So you can see there's a big percentage savings here of up to 80%. And this is because we're giving you the data and the accounts that you think are generally a good fit in the first place. So you're eliminated all the wasted time that would usually come before that.
And that's a very monotonous time as well. Like so frustrating trying to go through it manually each time to try and search, try and guess someone's email, and it's definitely so useful to have like kind of lists that you can kind of pick off and have it all there ready to go. It saves a huge amount of time.
Definitely. So we worked with a large US multinational, and this was their flow before they started to work with us. So they would have, their sales teams, for example, their BDRs or SDRs go onto LinkedIn. They would have particular lists of accounts. They were trying to find the contacts from LinkedIn, but they wouldn't actually send any campaigns or actually use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to reach out because it was too expensive on a large scale. So then, for example, they get the first name, last name, and the company. They might go to a product like Hunter, which guesses and generates some of the emails. Hunter's a great little tool, but it's not built for 100% accurate emails directly for account-based sales. Then they put all this data back into Salesforce, and then but Salesforce doesn't do automation, so they'd send a campaign by campaign, and it's very different if you're passing data directly into an experienced marketing team where they use Marketo or marketing automation. But from a sales cycle point of view, a lot of these tools aren't common, even in large multinationals. So on average, to find 800 contacts per month, it was costing this particular enterprise €1,500 per rep per month. So that's a massive amount, especially when they had upwards of 80 to 90 reps in a particular department focusing on the EMEA data.
Yeah, and I know myself as well. I've tried hunting in the past. And the last thing you want is bounce backs. And if you're guessing the wrong email, it's so frustrating. You spend time maybe personalizing an email. You start and send it, and you refresh the inbox, and you bounce back. And I guess for me, that's what I find most exciting about Outbound is you actually have verified business emails. That like what kind of percentage rate would actually bounce back? Again, I'm just curious. Have you got stats on that?
Yeah, so effectively what makes us a little bit different is instead of, for example, just guessing or generating emails and providing this back to you, and actually even before I go into that, a lot of what we provide, I guess the kind of smaller kind of companies very much think about personas where they want to target maybe a HR manager in a particular industry, and then they just want a list of emails and they engage. But I guess maybe even the kind of smarter, even startups or more established companies all follow the account-based sales strategy. Yeah, this is why, for example, like the email accuracy is so important. But we would have a direct team, which even though this is all generated with AI and verified with AI, we actually still have a team which will manually verify all these as well, in kind of spot checks to make sure that the data is highly accurate. So when the team logs on and they send, for example, you're going to have a very, very high degree of accuracy in the 90% upwards. And this is specifically to eliminate your time. There's no point having 10,000 email addresses that you think match your persona targets. If you've got a 60% answer rate, it's just a waste of your time.
Yeah, it is all at the end of the day. It is all about getting the right people.
Exactly. So we're all about quality rather versus quantity. So, and that's what we provide directly in the product. Mm-hmm. So I guess just give you a quick overview of the product itself. We're going to kind of focus based on account-based targeting use case directly in the platform. So this is our
This is our company lookup section. This is where you can view some of the accounts that you would want to sell to directly. So on the left-hand side here, I can search based off different filters and parameters. For example, industry, where they're headquartered, their employee size, or maybe I'm a recruiter and I want to search for companies that maybe need a particular type of developer or work with a technology. Or maybe, for example, I want to integrate, have a product that wants to integrate with Salesforce. So I'll target companies that use Salesforce.com as a product. Or maybe, for example, I want to work with agencies or target companies that spend a minimum of monthly X dollars or euro on online ads in particular regions. So based off all this information, I'm presented back with a list back of all particular companies. I'm able to add these then directly to your watch list. I'm able to have a look at these then and see is there additional info. In this quick example, I went to EY for their HQ branch, and then I can actually see, for example, some financial information about them because they're a public company. So we have this for larger companies, and then some related news. So maybe some reasons to engage or reasons not to engage. It's up to your reps or sales office to decide. So I'd add these particular companies, and these would go then to my selected account list here on the left-hand side. So these are all the accounts that I want to work with. And then, for example, I'm able to assign these then to particular reps. So on top of this then as well, you can go directly, for example, and you can put in any particular company as well. In this case, let's have a look for Salesforce, which is actually already on my list. And I can search and I can get it like that. And as well, I have various different options so I can get more companies like Salesforce, the internet companies based in the States. Or, for example, I can drag and drop my CSV to gain quickly a list of companies that I want to work with rather than manually searching for each one.
Perfect. So I hope that kind of gave you kind of a brief overview of how the company intelligence works directly in the product. So it's all about finding the right accounts. So your sales team isn't wasting time, targeting companies that aren't really a good fit and aren't really going to buy your product or service.
And if you want to find,
sorry, John?
in terms of if you want to find let's say you're looking for specific leads, people with, let's say, even smaller size companies rather than with sort of people in kind of larger accounts. What exactly about that? Sorry, Paul, there's a lot of noise in the background there.
Can you hear me now, okay, John?
Yeah, now it's better. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe I think it was just the internet connection. Sorry, so you're asking basically how would, I guess, kind of smaller size organizations use this tool directly, is it? Or
Or let's say you're looking for specific leads rather than accounts. You're looking for people rather than the actual companies.
exactly, perfect. So I'll show you that now in the next section here. So this section is, so some companies may not use this. So this is obviously built for companies that do follow the account-based methodology for sales. Other companies don't use this and they might go straight to persona-based searching, or they just want to target particular contacts in various accounts. So I have a little video here, I'll just play from that.
So after you use the company lookup to find some of your ideal accounts, this is where you'll go then to access the contact data. So if you're a rep or BDR and you actually have your accounts assigned to you, for example, you can click around the left-hand side for the accounts. Then, for example, I can see Salesforce, one of the ones that I selected earlier on. And then, for example, I'm able to search and I can get some of the contacts back. So I guess the difference with us is that we provide refresh data, for example. So when I would have requested this account, I would have set in my persona. So when I actually select this account, it automatically sets for job titles that I want. If that makes sense. Rather than pulling in every single contact of a multinational, we refresh all this data for you on demand. So it's all there behind the scenes, and then we refresh and pull it in on demand so you can access 100% valid contact data. If we're not sure if it's valid contact data, it doesn't show here. If that makes sense. Or the other opportunity is if you're not working with accounts and you want to work with personas. So you can go here to the left-hand side. You've got various industries and filters and such. And I'm just quickly going to hit search to see what comes back. But I can put in which particular industries I want to work with, levels, department, company size, countries or counties and such like that as well. And on top of this, then I can drill down as well, specifically as well, similar to the company lookup. If I had a company I wanted to work with, but didn't want to follow the account-based model. So we have data from all over the world, from Japan to Ethiopia, and you can see the way it always shows your latest data. So as you can see, company X is being pulled in systematically here on the left-hand side. That's why, for example, it's all like that. But I'm able, for example, if I wanted to select a particular country or particular department or level, in this case, we can put in Ireland and we can do another search here. So this is going to reload some of our filters, so it does take a second to reload. And then I can just keep it really simple on the search in here just for demo purposes because we have a wide variety in this audience. And here, for example, I can see some particular contacts. I can see, for example, if some of them have actually been contacted before by one of our reps, for example. And, for example, what exactly was said to this. And this is a template that was sent to this particular rep. So here, for example, I can cherry pick the contacts that I think are a good fit, and I can purchase these contacts directly. So these then get added to my contact manager, and this is where I can actually build my outreach lists and campaigns.
So in kind of start to finish, that kind of shows you how you can use, I guess, follow the account-based sales methodology if you have particular accounts and you want to find the contacts for them. Or, for example, if you don't know any particular accounts you want to target and you want to focus by persona or industries and departments and levels, that's effectively the best way to do it. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, it does. And if anybody has any questions, just put it in the chat. And at the end of the presentation, we can also you can also join and ask questions if you like then as well. But yeah, so then after you purchase them, then you create lists and send out emails. Or how does that work? And how does it sync with your own CRM?
Sure, I'll show you that now. So effectively here, so here's a quick short video I'll play for you here on how to use Contact Manager.
So guys, this is our contact manager. So after you've gone through the account-based lookup in the company lookup section, if you're going to use that, if you're kind of that style organization, then you'll go to your contact lookup where you would actually find the desired contacts, and then you would purchase those particular contacts, and then they would sit here. So I can manage my purchase contacts, my uploaded contacts, and my unsubscribed contacts. So for example, every contact that I purchase at a particular point in time will show up here, for example. So I'm able to filter by different levels, options, positions, and things like that to kind of filter the data that I want. And this is, for example, if you're going to use Outbound to do the engagement for the email sequencing, this is where you would actually send your campaigns. So I can create a simple outreach list, and then I can assign each of these contacts to that particular list. If they're on a particular list, they'll show up here on the right-hand side. And then as simple as that. If I want to use a CRM to actually send this data, or maybe I want to pass it on to marketing, for example, in this case, we have HubSpot connected to our platform. So I can click in here and I can sync with HubSpot, and this will push all that data up and down with HubSpot. So I can go here on the left-hand side back. I can upload my own contacts as well if I want to do that. Obviously, we run this for ourselves, so we usually don't do this, but this is just for a demo purpose. With GDPR, it's really important to manage your own subscribers. So with Outreach in Ireland, it's an opt-out for B2B. Without going into details, I can tell you more all about that later on. But effectively, all the unsubscribers that we have will be listed here. So the next time somebody searches for them, they're automatically blacklisted from any search, so any rep won't be able to engage with them at all.
Great.
So effectively,
So guys, this is our contact manager. So
apologies, sorry. So effectively, in a nutshell, so that's how you would actually build your list directly from your kind of purchase contacts.
Okay. And then in terms of one of the features that I think is really, really valuable as well is the actual drip campaigns and email sequencing. So being able to send like a personalization and then personalize something and send out messages that can automate. What I always see is like when it goes out through the sent feature in you go and you look at your outbox, you see the sent email, and you know that okay, going out like every 30, 40 seconds, or how does that work? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. So I guess unlike kind of maybe marketing orientated products, these don't come from a third party domain. They come directly from your corporate email. So when you would sign up to the product and you connect your mail, whether it be Outlook or Gmail, for example, for the business versions or Office 365, you have a click, one simple click and so that you would do to connect emails together. Then based off that, for example, you're able to send your test campaigns, you're able to put in all your individual variables and such, and these will go directly to the prospect. They include mail tracking functionality as well, and they don't look like they came from a third party. So there's no distinguishable factor that they came from this particular product, unless maybe they're highly technical and they analyze maybe some links in that wrap around maybe for mail tracking. As opposed if it comes from a product like MailChimp built for marketing, it always comes from a particular domain, so it's obvious where it kind of came from. I can click next here and I can give you a short video on how this product is directly used for the email campaigns.
Great.
So now you're ready to send your email campaigns. So you've gone to company lookup, you've found your in-market accounts, you've then gone to contact lookup, you've gotten the contacts for those particular accounts, you've gone to contact manager, and you've added them to a specific campaign list. Now this is where you use your list. On the left-hand side over here, you see dashboard, outreach, or your templates. So I'm able to go into outreach here, and I've got either quick campaign or automation campaigns. So if I click into quick campaign, which I'd swap here, I'm able to quickly create a campaign and a very simple name here, and I'm able to select the list of contacts that I want to send it to. Very, very simple. Like any CRM, I'm able to select some templates, or I can write the content directly in the editor, or I can quickly select a template, for example. So very, very simple. I'm able to review and send. This comes directly from my corporate inbox directly to the recipient. There's no indication it came from a product like this. So, or else I can look at email sequencing. So if I went back here and went into campaign automation, I'm able to go into email sequencing. So what is email sequencing? Email sequencing is to be able to send the next email in the sequence or from an automated perspective. So you can sit down on a Monday, spend 20 minutes, you can write out all your emails, or even have somebody in marketing create all these and have all these content there sitting in this. And you can schedule them all out for a particular date and times, and it will automatically send the next email in the sequence unless there's been a reply or an unsubscribe to the previous email. So I'm able to quickly simply select the list here similar to the previous one. I'm able to review some of the contacts here. So I can open this quickly and review, give them a quick scroll. And then I can go here and save this. And then, for example, I can go email 1. I can add another one as well. So maybe the name of the email sequence, and then similar to the above. And then in this, for example, I'm able to add content 1, content 2, and so forth, on particular date and times, and then these will fire it automatically once the rules are set. So once I send out directly the actual email campaigns, I want to see some analytics. So I go into here, the dashboard on the left-hand side, which I have open here, and I can see one campaign here. So I'm able to see how many contacts it was sent to and some general stats here as well. So when it was sent, some of the opens and clicks and follow-ups and such. So if we want to view the individual campaign itself, I can click directly in, which I forgot to do there. And this should load now and pull in all the data. So I can see, for example, everybody I sent it to. I'm able to see the individual links that they've clicked and how many times they opened it. So these are some of the links maybe for some of the different documents. One is obviously our website. The second is probably some partnership deck we're sharing for this particular one. We can see, for example, that this is open from different IP addresses, so it's more than likely shared or forwarded, and the goal has been complete for all of these. I'm able to look and I'm able to see, this is a little bit older, but I'm able to actually see, for example, how many are sent, how many total opens from all the emails, how many total clicks, how many were delivered, and then how many were forwarded as well. And this is directly in the product, nice and simple. You're able to cherry pick the ones that you want here, and then as well you can do a follow-up email if you're not doing the email sequence, which is very straightforward, like so. And this will do the automatic reply then to the previous email. How did that sound? Yeah.
Yeah, I love these. I love this feature of being able to have the automatic follow up because it's so important in sales to really follow up. And you should get very often people will they might even look at an email open and say, "Oh, it looks interesting," and then they forget about it and they forget to reply. But by having these further follow up emails, you've got a much higher rate of conversion. And what would other kind of things that people should be aware of when they send email campaigns or any other features that we should know about?
So I guess one thing that's a bit different as well is that when we kind of typically bring on new users, and this is more, I guess, for maybe the larger size, but based off their kind of industry and segment and the product that they're selling, we're able to kind of analyze their database, maybe give them templates that we think are going to be a good fit for their kind of product or service. There is a bit of a science in terms of how you do this. And as well, there's little things like, for example, like typically a lot of companies don't email on the weekends, right? But even emailing on the weekends, it's a bit more of an American approach. But you're more than likely going to get anybody who's a decision maker. Usually in all size companies, they check their emails 24/7. So there's all kind of tips and tricks like that we can provide directly as part of the service. Even in the RSS product, we do want to kind of help out a little bit more because we want to see our customers actually getting bits from our informers. But the core is the messaging as well, that you actually send the email to. if you're not targeting the right people, if your subject lines don't kind of give good strong value, they're not going to click into your email. And then obviously inside the email, the body of the text has to represent, your core value proposition, your offering has to, be very relevant to the contact you're targeting. Some companies would use very much hyper personalization, where everything is absolutely personalized down to maybe the university you went to, or you used to work for this company, I worked for that company too. And then other companies are a little bit more simple. It really depends on, I guess, your kind of target segment, and then kind of what kind of level of detail you think is needed to kind of to help actually, generate kind of warm replies directly from this. And so initially when you start off with us, we give you a little bit of help with that. And then we do monthly check-ins too, to kind of see how you're getting on with that and how we can help you further.
Brilliant. If anybody's got any questions, at this point, you can raise your hand on the right-hand side. If you click raise hand, you on to the call and ask any questions, or else you can just write it in the chat. If you like. Paul, can you hear me? There's a lot of noise in your background there.
Sorry, is this any better now?
Yeah. Great, okay, and so I see that you've got some integrations with various tools. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. So we integrate directly with Salesforce and HubSpot and the Salesloft and Outreach. So Salesforce and HubSpot are probably the larger kind of well-known CRMs. HubSpot more marketing focused for maybe the smaller to SMB market, and Salesforce generally SMB plus. We work as well directly with Salesloft and Outreach, which were sales enablement tools as well, which is all about, I guess, cadence and campaigns. So, for example, these products are really good, and we would push data directly to them as well. And as well, we do custom integrations too. So if you have a new particular product that you'd like us to integrate with, we can potentially do that too. And we do work as well directly with different companies on different needs. So it could be maybe various informations or metrics to target the right accounts in the first place, or if you have maybe some non-standard data requirements, we can potentially see if we can help you with that. So even though we are a SaaS product, we go down the lines from a consultant service to some degree as well, to see how we can improve your sales efficiency and kind of obviously increase revenue and help grow your company faster.
Brilliant. And just in terms of, so you've got 80% from Outbound. I was just going to ask you about, the kind of stats on, kind of deliverability. What kind of, what would the kind of typical open rate be for emails like this? And like, how many would actually get through? Because I know very often if you send a marketing email to people who've already subscribed, you might be looking to get maybe 20% open rate and 5% click-through rate. Have you got any kind of stats on that?
Sure. So we actually do, but for this presentation, we cut them out, I guess, to kind of keep it a bit more brief. But effectively, with the platform, we've seen everything from 40 to 80% open rates for click-through rates, maybe from the late kind of 40s to early 50s. And the reason for that is because it's not a generic marketing campaign. You're targeting somebody who you're pretty sure needs a product or service, or has a job title relevant to it in a company that for some reason you think they need it too, or else they're likely going to be interested in. You're going to send them kind of a relevant subject. The email is going to get delivered, and then they're going to click the body, and with good content, generally, you get these high stats. The typical open and click-through rates, open rates, click rates, and click-through rates are generally from the maybe, early 20s to maximum about 30%, for most marketing products. That's like a general kind of stat. And if you look at even like HubSpot and such, they'll kind of give you very, very similar numbers. They're kind of well known. That's really the difference between personalized B2B sales outreach and kind of sending out kind of marketing newsletters or marketing campaigns. The second somebody sees, it came from a MailChimp directly in their inbox, they're going to look at it and say, oh, it's just marketing fluff, and kind of quickly skim through it. But when it's a personalized sales email, without any kind of novelty graphics or, just something simple from me to you, and it looks like it's genuine, it's composed well, it's grammatically correct, and it has relevant value proposition, people generally read these, and if what you're offering is something that they need, they'll generally reply. And if they don't reply and you carry on with the sequence, if it is a good value proposition to them and they need it, eventually it'll catch the eye and then they'll get time to get back to you. Because I guess the biggest thing is when you're selling, people are obviously always busy, so that's why the automation is so important. Because definitely there's a lot of companies who do cold outreach to me. I'm actually generally interested in their product or service, but I get a lot of emails, I get busy, and then okay, oh crap, I forgot to get back to that guy, and then I do when I see the next email in the sequence.
Yeah, I know exactly what that feels like. And other the click-through rates there.
Yeah, so this is a particular SaaS fintech company we worked with last year. We just put together quickly a group of slides directly for this presentation. So, but in the space of, I think it was 1 month, they put in €732 in kind of contact credits. They generate 241 leads directly from the product. So these are leads that show the positive engagement directly from it. And these are the click-through rates and open rates that kind of corresponded with that particular campaign. We have a lot more interest in stats now, which I'd be happy to share out if we're talking to any individual companies directly as well. But this is just to kind of give you a bit of a flavour of kind of what can be done.
Brilliant, brilliant. I'm conscious that we've only just a few minutes left for the presentation, and I just wanted to. I know that you've just brought out a solo plan for single users, and it's designed to really help the kind of entrepreneurs who are working alone or working in very small teams. You might have the budget of the €1,000 a month kind of plans. So, can you tell us a bit more about your new solo plan?
Sure. So our new solo plan is €59 per month for individual solo account. So for this could be anything from a BDO or an SDO or an entrepreneur as a founder, or it could be a few different kind of reps in a kind of smaller size organization. So we get 250 contact credits per month. And you're able to use the email automation functionality. We also have reveal functionality, which you can kind of connect to your website as well to, see who kind of came to your website, work out the IP addresses and tell you, okay, company highlight these. So it's a really good value offering, and we've done this as well specifically to kind of combat COVID. So the amount of companies that are obviously facing massive difficulties and challenges at the moment, specifically if we're kind of focusing maybe on, even the amount of SMEs in kind of or small businesses in the US or Ireland comparatively it's unbelievable. We have a huge amount of smaller businesses, and they're still quite new. It's something like 87% of companies still globally haven't adopted any sales technology, and Ireland had like 30,000 new companies registered last year. So there's still a massive amount of companies which are still doing. They might be buying data lists from a company. They're spending huge amounts of money on inbound ads. I guess what the value is with this allows a sales rep to go in and put in, for example, what they want. They can get what they want. And I guess what's a little bit different about us is that if we don't have what they want, or it's something a bit more unique, once it's available in the market, we'll get them for them at no extra cost. And they're able to choose the contacts or prospects that they think are a good fit and then engage directly with them. All for €59 per month.
It's brilliant. It's amazing. It's the amount of time that it saves. For me is just makes so much sense. And I see there as well your slide. You say over 33 grand worth of staff costs saved because of the amount of time that this can save. It's like you have your own sales staff.
Well, exactly, yeah, definitely. So from the bigger organizations, we eliminate sales operations or be able to reduce that. So that's a very expensive salary. If you're talking about then, SDRs and BDRs, the amount of time spent to, okay, which account do I target, or even just like how to figure out emails, or, the time, like imagine if each of your reps, okay, they're going to use maybe some potential other tools, but they have to go to LinkedIn, they have to get their first name, last name, their job titles, they have to search for all this. Every hour your reps spend actually doing this costs money and costs you time. But it's not even time, it's the opportunity cost. So it's the time they could be spent actually emailing and trying to close deals, rather than actually, looking for the data in the first place. So, at the very worst case, it's going to eliminate opportunity costs and allow you to directly engage as opposed to, be at least, a month or a few weeks behind in each campaign.
Yeah, and I think I saw that the names of the tools that you even have in Outbound is 1, prospect, finding your ideal clients, and then 2, engage. set up the email sequences so that you can really get the conversions. So that's brilliant. So I think we are running out of time, but what we can do is we can continue in a roundtable discussion in a moment. But can you tell us just? I see there is a question actually regarding integration with Zapier, and just wondering if you got any other kind of feedback for a roadmap for where Outbound is going in the future.
Yeah, so we don't have a Zapier integration at the moment, but that's definitely on the cards. We have Dynamics being launched, I think, I think next month that's been launched for the integrations. We do an integration effectively, give or take, every 3 weeks to a month, roughly, approximately about that. But we have a lot more in the product that's going to come in relation to personality AI, and I guess, for example, that's going to use all personality data to actually tell you how to write an email relevant to somebody. So it's not just going to be email templates that other big companies suggest that are efficient. It's all going to be about content generated dynamically around the personality of the individual. So that's very much what our focus is going on forward now in the next few months. And we have a lot more in the product that's coming, ranging down to kind of video analysis and things like that directly for sales calls. But predominantly, this is our bread and butter. So it's all about really good data and giving you a nice, simple tool to kind of send directly with. If you need something that's highly advanced or you have a much bigger teams, this can all be pushed up to Salesforce, for example, if you want to use it for marketing. So I guess it's designed to kind of fit the needs of the smaller sales rep as well as, an SDR, BDR, or sales up in a larger organization all at the same time.
Brilliant, brilliant. I know that you can add in the BCC. You can put in an email for your to send it to your own CRM if you use another CRM, even if it's not if there isn't an integration there already. You can actually use the BCC to log it. So that's something that I think is a really cool feature too.
Exactly, and of course you can do that nice and simply, or you can export your data. You can export some of your campaigns as well. So. But yeah, and in terms of there's any kind of popular integrations that companies are looking for, feel free to reach out, and if there's demand for it, we can always prioritize on our roadmap. We're a tech company. We're engineering focused. I guess the reason I love what I do is because I'm using my engineering and technical background to try and optimize the sales process as much as possible. Because I think the salespeople they don't get enough credit. Sales is a very, very difficult role. It's a mixture between an art and a science. I do believe it's a combination, depending on what part of the funnel you're working in, and it can be very, very difficult. So let's try and kind of make this as easy and as seamless as possible for, at the end of the day, the sales reps, you're out there engaging with companies every day, to build a revenue that's going to drive your business further.
Yeah, definitely. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think we're going to round this up now and move over to the round tables in a moment. But I just want to say, Paul, it's been a pleasure having you here today. Thank you very much for your insights. And if anybody wants to try out Outbound, if you go to outboundsales.io, you can find out more information there. And likewise, if anyone wants to ask me any questions, I'll be happy to. You can reach me on john@innovativesolutions.ie about anything that regarding the networking event or the webinar today, and I'll be happy to put you in touch with Paul or his team. So, guys, what's going to happen now is we're going to move across. We'll leave this webinar area. We're going to move across to the round table and continue the conversations from there. And then after, in about 10 minutes time at 4 o'clock, we can start the speed networking, which is just one-to-one conversations. And if you need more time to speak with someone at the end, you can always go back to the round tables. So thanks everyone for joining today. I hope you've enjoyed using this platform. And please do follow our events. You can always find out more on innovativesolutions.ie/events. That's where we'll be listing future events. So listen, Paul, thank you very much. And do you have any other comments for everyone here?
No, definitely, John. Thank you very much for taking the time to host the event and for publicising this. It's a kind of pleasure to be involved and work with you as always. I really enjoy it. John has and is working with some really innovative companies in different spaces. So I'd really much advise you guys to check out Innovative Solutions and actually engage with John too, like as we're doing the same as well. But very much, yeah, definitely love to speak to you all, especially about our solo plan directly. So feel free to ping me, any of my team, the guys are here in the chat as well, or either John as well. And we'd love to chat to you all and look forward to the networking after this.